Hello recruits and friends of the Outer Rim Garrison, my name is Aaron, aka Death Proof, the Vancouver Island Garrison Event Coordinator, and today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how to navigate our forum. Our forum is the place to be for all information pertaining to our garrison, from event rosters, announcements, social events, and planning threads. Our forum is where you need to be for all the updates. While we do have an Outer Rim Garrison members Facebook page, it is only a social page and not really used for rostering for events. We do also have a Outer Rim Garrison public Facebook page, which is primarily used to interact with the public, show troops that we've been on, highlight specific troopers, and just generally give another way for us to get in touch with our audience. Again, the public and private Facebook pages are not used for rostering or event planning. Again, the private one is mainly for us to discuss fun social things between each other. Make sure that you get added to the group if you're not one already. And of course, the public one, we don't post anything. Our public relations officers take care of all information that's put on our public page. So what is a forum? I'm doing this tutorial for those that may not know exactly what a forum is. And believe me, if you asked me a few years ago how to navigate a forum, I wouldn't know either. Forums can be quite daunting if you don't know how to navigate them or have little experience kind of with them. Our Legion, though, it runs off of forums. There are many other costuming sites like this, and they really are the best source for help, asking questions and getting specific information. So what exactly is a forum? A forum is pretty much a community-based website where people come together to discuss similar topics of interest based on that particular forum. There are three areas or forums that you really want to visit and sign up for. First off, there is the Detachment Forum, which is a specialty costume group for the costume that you are working on. If you want to find the detachment that is right for you, you can click on the 501st website, which is 501st.com, and under Unit Listings and Detachments, you'll get a list of all the detachments for that specialty costume. So for instance, the Armored Cavalry takes care of all the AT-AT drivers, AT-ST drivers, and so on and so forth. Then, of course, there is our Outer Rim Garrison Forum. This is for discussing planning and rostering for our garrison events here in British Columbia. Lastly, there is the 501st Legions Forum, which is only for 501st approved members. You will not have access to this forum until you are approved. So this is the 501st Legions Forum. Okay, you can see that there's, topics like talking about council, there's announcements and for sale threads and all that kind of stuff. There's also like the Replica Prop Forum. So this forum is more of a cosplay forum that talks about, it's got Star Wars costumes, Marvel, DC, Judge Dredd, Predator. There's a prop section, lots of other worldly universe costuming kind of stuff. And of course, we've got one of the ones I frequented a lot, the Dented Helmet, which is like huge amounts of information regarding to Mandalorians, Boba Fett, other types of bounty hunters. And of course, within the 501st, there are forums for each detachment. So I'm part of the Bounty Hunters Guild forum. So you can go here, talk about builds that you're doing, ask questions to 501st detachment members, as well as the 1st Imperial Stormtrooper detachment, which again is a similar layout as well. So with these detachments, I highly advise that you sign up for these in addition to the Outer Rim Garrison forums, and of course dependent on the type of costume you're making. If you're making a Stormtrooper, this is the place to be. If you're making a Bounty Hunter, this is the place to be. But if you're doing like a TIE pilot or an officer, there are other forums for those detachments. So each forum is divided up into topics. Within those topics are specific threads that people post to either ask questions or just share information. So for instance, here on the Dented Helmet, there are sections just about the costume, just about the helmet, other original trilogy bounty hunters. So if I clicked on this particular topic, it's going to take me to lots of different threads that people have posted. So for instance, this person's talking about a paint up. This person is talking about different types of helmets, the rangefinder, all that kind of stuff. With our forum, we have different sections for announcements, public discussions, Star Wars costumes, things that you might be working on. So there are different topics, and within this obviously are different, these are all called different threads. The first thread that you should probably look at in our forum is the welcome thread. Talk to us a little bit about yourselves, so that click on this new member is welcome, introduce yourselves. So click on this and start a reply. So do a quick reply. Talk to us a little bit about yourself. Kind of let us know what you're doing here, who you are. You know, if you're working on a costume or if you're just stopping by to say hi, this is a great way to just introduce yourself. People like to know who's part of the garrison. We have so many members now. We've doubled in size in the last year. So there's lots and lots of new members, and it's important that we get to know each other. Once you've signed up for the forum, you should have access to the first top 2 sections. So the first being obviously the public forum, and of course the costumes and props. Be sure to check out each subtopic and all the pinned threads. Pinned threads are usually quite important as they stay on the top of each topic. You can see the little pin here on the left-hand side. These include guidelines to events, how to post pictures properly to our forum, information of volunteers, etc. I mean, for instance, these are some great pinned threads on tutorials by our Garrison CO Terry on, for instance, how to weather Sandtrooper armor, how to make a duct-tape mannequin. So these are pinned threads that stay on the top. So again, like how to upload photos to a forum, there's an entire thread on that, which is quite important for you to check out, as we don't host photos on our forum because it just takes up too much space. So having a photo site like Flickr or PhotoBucket really helps out with that. In the costume and props topic, you have the option to post your own thread on the progress of a costume that you might be working on and get feedback advice from our knowledgeable members, including our GML, our Garrison Membership Liaison, who will be reviewing your application when you submit it. So for instance, we have a trooper here who is working on a Shadow Trooper build, so we can check out that trooper's progress based on what it is that they're doing. Another trooper is working on a Juno Eclipse or lots and lots of TKs. By posting here, you're showing us that you are working on something, and we can give you tips and advice on how to progress. Recruits or volunteers who may be working on a costume and want to be in the loop regarding troops can request access to the Friends of the Outer Rim Garrison section. This is the main section of the forum where all event rosters and social events are posted. If you are a member of the 501st Legion and Outer Rim Garrison, you will have access to this topic upon approval. I'll say once more to double check all the pinned threads. So these are all the pinned guidelines. It's expected that you understand the information in each of these threads prior to attending an event. So especially like hospital protocols, conduct at garrison events, trooping with an incomplete costume. These are lots and lots of things that all recruits and troopers need to be aware of. Sometimes the forum can get quite full of conversation. A lot is happening, and with our garrison growing, there are many threads that are going on at once. What I like to do is click on the Show Unread Posts Since Last Visit button. This is actually quite helpful to kind of simplify things a little bit. Take a look and see if any of the threads relate to events you are part of or just items that you might be interested in. Once you click on a thread, I mean, even if you've been following the thread, you can just click on the New button, and that takes you to the newest post in that thread. You can then scroll back to the top, click on Show Unread Post Since Last Visit again, and it scratches that thread out of this section, so it's kind of like just checking things off on a things to do list. If none of these posts pertain to you, you can click on this button here, mark all messages as read, and it will actually take all of those out of the list and clear all the messages. This is a great way to ensure that you don't get lost in the forum. To make sure that you don't get overwhelmed, I highly recommend that you check the forum at least once a day. That way you are staying in touch with what is happening in our garrison. One of the biggest reasons for me to doing this tutorial is to ensure that troopers know how to properly roster for events. As mentioned, if you're not familiar with the forums and only interested in rostering, I can help you out with that. Generally, for each event, there's a planning thread and a roster thread. In the Outer Rim Garrison members only section, you'll see the event planning topic and then all of the threads that are available. You will notice that each planning thread has a prefix based on the event's geography. So island is green, mainland is red, and interior is yellow, and garrison wide is this teal color. You can quickly filter events by prefix by just clicking on the geography that pertains to you. So being on the island, I might only want to check out island events. So I can just click on the island icon and it filters all the island planning threads. Planning thread will then contain all information regarding the event, such as transportation, meeting locations, and essentially everything outside the start and stop time and venue of the event. Once an event has enough interest, a roster thread is created where you can then sign up to troop. Once a roster thread is created, you can see that roster thread in the event rosters topic section here. And of course, again, you can filter by geography if you really wanted to. To roster, find a roster with the same event title and click the sign up button. Sometimes it's a good idea to let the event coordinator know what costume you plan on bringing in the comment box to the right. That way we have a better idea of what to expect. Or if you're volunteering as a photographer or a handler, please indicate that here in the comment box and make sure that it's okay with the Garrison event coordinator before doing so. So everything looks great here, so I'll just click the sign up button and I am signed up for this particular troop. I can cancel if my schedule changes and I can't make it for the troop. It is a good idea that you do let the Garrison event coordinator know that you are canceling for a particular event, simply because we do not get notifications when you unroster for an event. If you are a visual person like me, sometimes it's a good idea to take a look at the calendar. In the calendar, you can actually see all of the rosterable, if that's a word, rosterable events in a month view. So you can actually, so for instance, I want to go to the Maple Ridge Summer Kids Club. I can click on that and it takes me directly to the roster thread. I can get information about the start and end time of the event, all the information that is important to the roster. And of course, I can just click on the arrows here and go into future events that might be happening. So for instance, GeekCon here that's coming up in Nanaimo. There's the roster where you can sign up, all the important information. Usually event coordinators will also put a link to the planning thread so it's easier to navigate. And that will open up all the information for Outer Rim Garrison members. Another good thing to know is how to do private messaging. In the menu bar here, you'll see a tab that says My Messages. You can either read your messages or send a message. For this example, we'll just send a message. And obviously, a couple of fields will open up. You will need to know the username of the person that you want to speak to. The nice thing about our forum is that it will automatically populate the field. So for instance, if I want to talk to Steve, I know that his handle is 15, so I just start typing that and it will automatically pop up. I can also talk to, for instance, Terry, who I know is Panda Trooper, and it will automatically pop up. Alan is Vancouver Trooper, and it will automatically pop up. Whoever it is that you want to speak with, you can just type in their name, all right, populate it. You can add multiple recipients by adding BCC, and of course, this is now just like a regular email. And you can also save a copy in your outbox. This is a good idea because it doesn't necessarily save an outgoing message like a regular mail client. So you have to actually click this button if you want to keep the sent message. And of course, we have a wonderful array of emoticons that we can include in here, which is, I think, pretty snazzy. And then of course, just in the bottom right corner, just click to send your message. You can preview it or spell check it. Everything looks pretty good here. So I'll just send the message and away it goes. It'll automatically bring it back to your inbox, and you can of course read through all of your messages in the inbox. You will also receive in your regular mail client, which it's tied to when you create your profile, it will send an email notification to your mail client that you have received a private message on our forum. So in conclusion, make sure that you are using the forum at least once a day to check in on what is happening. Take some time to navigate the planning thread and roster threads and sign up for events that you know that you can attend. The more often you check the forums, the more that you are in the know about events, and the earlier you can check your schedule and the sooner you can sign up. As an event coordinator, it's a lot easier to plan for events when members sign up earlier rather than last minute. So thank you again for taking the time to view this tutorial. I look forward to trooping with you.